Hey everyone, I'm Griff.
And I'm Ember.
And today we're going to walk you through 3's Not a Crowd, the strategic card game for 2 to 6 players that's all about teamwork, strategy, and a bit of luck.
You've probably heard some things about the game, and now you're a little more curious on how it works. To sum it up, the 3's Not a Crowd card game is a fun, fast-paced game to play with friends or family. The base game has a few game modes that allow for a short 20-minute game or a longer 45-minute game, depending on what you're in the mood for. Let's break down what the game comes with and a quick summary of how things work.
In the base game, you'll get 134 cards in total, 108 triad number cards from 1 to 12, including 3 elements: fire, water, and ice, 12 action cards, and 14 Gamebreaker cards. The objective? To collect matching triad cards. But you can't just go willy-nilly and collect when you want to. You have to wait for the triad phase.
Yes! This is my favorite part. It gets so intense not knowing who has a matching card or not.
It's always exciting to see who I get to target next.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise. Somehow it's always me. But it's not just all about matching numbers. The elements can play a huge role in the strategy. Like Griff said earlier, in the base game you've got elements like fire, ice, and water, each with their own special abilities. To use these, you will need to place them face up in the dedicated play area to show everyone what you activated.
Take the fire element, for example. Its normal ability, Flare, lets you discard a card from your hand and draw a new one, which helps you cycle through your cards faster. But if you manage to collect and play down 3 triad fire cards, you activate the enhanced ability Scorch, which forces your opponent to discard 2 cards and you get to draw 1.
Ooh, that can really mess with their game.
Yeah, it definitely can and will. For some reason, I always get the 2 cards I needed to keep most, discarded by someone else. You want to tell them about another element that'll come with the base game?
Of course, Griff. What about the coolest element? The ice element, with its normal ability Chill. It lets you prevent an opponent from playing cards their next turn, giving you an opportunity to stop an opponent in their tracks. With the enhanced ability Freeze, it gets even better. You stop any opponent from trying to match any cards during the next triad phase. A player can't be targeted back-to-back, though.
But that's just the start. There's going to be more elements to come. Let's talk about the different ways you can play. The base game comes with several game modes to keep things fresh. In the Quick Play player mode, it's every player for themselves. You'll be collecting triads, using elemental abilities, and trying to outsmart your opponents.
Then there's the team mode called Group Up. You can play 2 versus 2 or 3 versus 3. In this mode, it's all about communication and strategy with your teammates. The first team to collect 5 or 6 matching triad cards, depending on team size, wins. But in this game mode, there is a separate trading phase, which forces teams to swap out 3 cards each. This can really switch things up.
And finally, there's Collect Them All, where the goal is to collect one of every number in the game in chronological order. It's a race to see who can complete their set first, while using Gamebreaker and elemental cards to slow down your opponents.
Speaking of the Gamebreaker cards, these are a Gamebreaker, literally. They can disrupt the flow of play, or give you an advantage at the perfect moment. You still activate these just the same as all the other cards, by placing them face up in the play area. Take the Grave Digger card, for example. It allows a player to go through every discarded card and add any one card to their hand.
Or how about the card called Right? It forces all players to shift their collection of triad cards to the player to the right, completely changing the set of cards they've been building up. That can seriously shift the balance of the game.
Yeah, that is so frustrating when someone plays that. This is what I do now. I try to keep that card in my hand so no other players get it when I'm in the lead.
That sounds like a good plan. That is, until someone steals it.
That is true. Anyways, the beauty of 3's Not a Crowd is that every game is different. Whether you're playing competitively or with a team, the mix of elements, action cards, and Gamebreaker cards keeps you on your toes. With more elements, game breakers, and game modes coming out soon.
And with over 125 cards in the base set, there's plenty of variety to keep the game exciting. Plus, the different game modes mean you can switch things up depending on how many people are playing or what kind of game you're in the mood for.
So whether you're a fan of strategy games or just looking for something fun and different for game night, 3's Not a Crowd has something for everyone.
Choose your element, challenge your friends, and dive into the action. 3's Not a Crowd is coming later this year, so follow at 3's Not a Crowd Game on Instagram for future updates and game modes.
Trust us, you'll want to play this again and again. And remember,
Teamwork makes the triad work.